So, people, I want to talk a little bit about I don't believe in Je Hendry. I don't believe in Je Hendry. Now, let's look at something. When I look at Je Hendry, I look at where he is right now. Now, I told you guys when they first brought him to NXT to make an appearance, when they first brought Jordan Grace over, I told you there's no way in hell that the WWE is just doing this just to do it. They have a vested interest in Jordan Grace and Je Hendry. Now, whatever develops after that, cool. But bottom line is, initially, no, that's who they wanted. Is it just a coincidence that that's what Jordan Grace is now? And whenever Je Hendry's contract is up, that's the kind of clown shit that they like. Now, let me say for starters, it's not my job to say where somebody should or shouldn't go, like, with emotion. I don't personally care. I don't want to see Je Hendry in AEW because he's a clown. I don't deal like he's just corny as fuck. He's a cornball. There's nothing about Je Hendry that impresses me. Je Hendry would not be used the same in AEW. I would hope. I don't want to see him coming out with his little stupid guitar. I don't give a fuck. I know he has different type of talents, marketing degree, all this kind of shit and all whatever. And I know his story, okay? I don't care about that shit. Whatever works for him is what works for him. But you see, his fit in AEW is like Harley Cameron is talented. Harley Cameron is funny. Harley Cameron has us. We don't need, 2 and 3 more Harley Camerons. We don't need, Je Hendry is just corny though, man. Like he's just corny, period. And the thing with Harley is on a come up. She's a rookie. She's trying to get her name out there. So Harley is in a different position. So Je Hendry, the way he was used in AEW, in TNA was TNA went the sports entertainment route. This is what happened. They went the sports entertainment route. Now, if people with that, I don't care about wrestling, I only care about stories. If TNA is getting people saying that to them in their comment sections, if people are like if they're trying to cater to the point of thinking, you know what, maybe that's the direction we need to go. That's what the wrestling business has come to, sports and entertainment. No, that works for the WWE. First of all, certain wrestlers every wrestler's not good on the mic. TNA doesn't have any actual format to their show. They don't have anything that happens on their show where people have a strong presence on that camera. So when you just decide, okay, let's say, for example, if CM Punk comes out and talks for fucking 30 minutes about how he came into the business and where he grew up and the reason he got his first tattoo or whatever the fuck. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to send Moose out to do the same thing. Or you're going to send some, it's like, what is Moose going to talk about now? Like, what are you saying for 30 fucking minutes? Like, what are you really talking about? Okay. Somebody comes out and interrupts, and now you start having a back. But what are you actually talking about? What you're saying? What is it leading to? Like, CM Punk comes out and cut a promo, and all this shit is leading to Money in the Bank. Like, man, it took you that long to say that bullshit. Like, you understand what I'm saying? It's like nursery rhyme. Like I said, it's storytelling time. Like your parents sitting you on your lap telling you stories type of shit. This is what they fucking do. And we don't care about that. TNA, it's obvious. When PCO said they don't know what the hell they're doing, he was right. But I've been telling you guys this for the longest, like TNA has lost their identity. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. And you can see, like, they just don't. It's like, what are we supposed to be doing here? What direction are we going? You realize all of, like, Je Hendry's matches There were no real feuds. There was no story, just random matches. The same way with this NXT shit, which is why I say you motherfucking, I love stories. Y'all full of shit with this. You love the TNA NXT Connect. There's no stories there. There's just basically random people popping up and NXT wrestlers getting a much bigger pop than TNA wrestlers. And these guys come out, these men and women come out, and they have a match that doesn't lead to anything. So you invade TNA this week. TNA is going to invade NXT next week. And that's all this shit is doing. And Je Hendry's ass got lost up in that mix as well. Then you got Elias coming out, and they're both sitting there playing guitars. And I mean, I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? That's not what people got into TNA for. See, TNA is getting to that point. How do we grow an audience? How can we get 1 million views again? How can we get... They don't know. They don't have anything. They have no structure to nothing that they're doing. An explosion. Unfortunately, Harley Hudson, and Myla went on there and they basically wrestled in front of a 75% empty building. So the good thing is you can catch the replays of those matches on YouTube. So okay, that's who Harley Hudson is. That's okay. Because at the end of the day, man, they are basically two talents. They had a tag match as well. But bottom line is nobody cares about TNA enough to come to their shows to help them to really sell out, whatever venues they're in. They don't really care enough. So if they get a nice crowd for their pay-per-view, well, Impact itself might have most of the audience still there. Explosion definitely won't. And Explosion is nothing but a recap. Matches that already happened from, whenever, where, and then the last match will be a match of a current match. And you look at Je Hendry. What the hell is Je Hendry gonna do in WWE? That motherfucker, his match with Randy Orton lasted 3 fucking minutes. The TNA World Champion wrestled Randy's a legend. So fucking what? Yeah, the same legend that lost the other up-and-coming guys that they trying to push in the WWE at some point, right? Okay, but Je Hendry's match wasn't even competitive. It's not like he went there and they had a match. It wasn't even competitive. The TNA champion loses to Trick Williams, a fucking developmental wrestler. 11-year veteran versus a 7-year veteran. All right? A 7-year wrestler. You're under 10 years, man. You still got 3 more to go. Je Hendry's already at 11 years. And he lost to this guy, lost the belt, and his title reign sucked. His title reign sucked. And not only did his title reign suck, but if you look at right now, what I'm saying, the focus is more on being a sports entertainer than a fucking professional wrestler. Not balance it out where I'm both, but I want to come in here and clap and turn around and smile. Like, what? I mean, this generation like the stupidest shit, man. I just don't like this dude. When I say I don't mean personally, I don't like, I mean, I don't like if I'm holding up 2 suits and I go, I don't like this one, put it there. That's what I mean. I don't like Je Hendry. I don't like nothing about this dude, man. This is a motherfucker that needs a serious makeover, man. Like there's nothing about this fucking guy. Okay, so let's say he goes to WWE. And you motherfuckers out here, yeet. Now you're going to be over here, I believe in Je Hendry. Really? That's what the fuck sports entertainment is to you? So, nah. I really don't want to see that motherfucking AEW at all, man. And what's he gonna walk into at WWE? Just a spot of being a goofball. Look at the dude. Look at his look, man. Look at him. And his wrestling matches stunk. There's nothing about the match he had with Trick Williams was a garbage ass match. There's nothing about this dude. I remember some years ago they asked The Rock. This is when The Rock had came back to fight John Cena, and they asked him who was like some of the people he liked right now, and they said, "No, no, I'm wrong," because AEW had started. So this was afterwards. But I remember watching. I probably watched him and John Cena or something around that same time, like a replay as well. But they asked him who does he like in wrestling, like anyway, AEW, TNA, what, and he says he liked Fandango. Fandango, bro. This is what I'm Fandango. AEW have certain wrestlers that they have a variety. They have where you're not getting the same exact shit. So yeah, you got the guys more on a eccentric side and all that. I'm saying you can like whoever you like. But here's how it works in professional wrestling. The fans really don't get behind characters that they don't see as being able to be a champion, some type of champion. They really just don't. Like, you see how, like, for example, look at Max Caster, right? Now, he went from being with the Acclaim. Now, he comes out every week. Let's go back, show the best wrestler alive, right? Whatever transformation his character is going to go into for him to get more serious and how it's going to go, okay, that's the development. Imagine Max Caster, though, being like one of the top guys there. Like, imagine him being like, this is your champion. No, this, seriously, this is what I'm saying. Max Caster, when him and the Acclaim was together, and I'll say this again for you guys, when they were together, Bowens was the energy. He was the one with the personality. Max came out rapping and whatever, but Anthony Bourne was the energy. He was the like the hardcore guy out of the two of them. Okay. But like I said, once they started talking about the homosexuality stuff, I'm like, okay, that's your business. Why do we like? You see, even like last time on Fighter Fest, when he's talking about we know they do the gay pride stuff. No, okay, that's their business. What I'm saying in terms of your personality, your character, like who you are in the ring, that's the focus. You understand what I'm saying? Not the fact that you're gay, whatever. That's okay. That's your personal business. You understand what I'm saying? We don't care about that. It's your business. Because case in point, I don't think no masculine men, no stand-up men or stand-up women will even see somebody like Max Caster or Bruce Bowens being like world champion. And they're like feminine and soft acting. Like, if that's the case, bring Sonny Kiss back and let Sonny get, because you understand what I'm saying? I don't see that shit, man. like no. Back when Adrian Adonis, I don't know if he was gay or not, whatever, that's his business, or if he was just playing a character. But who the fuck wanted to see Adrian Adonis as world champion? You understand what I'm saying? So, my thing is, certain wrestlers, how you package them and how they perform in that ring, that's what we're going to go by. But I don't think at all, man, that when you take a guy who is seen as a buffoon, seen as a clown, seen as a funny person, that's what they get known for. R-Truth. So therefore, a change in character might not work even when you go somewhere else. What's the guy's name? I always forget his name. He used to team up with The Miz. And he would be doing dumb shit, like whatever's happening to The Miz, he would act like it's happening to him. He'd be outside the ring, throwing himself around, all that stupid shit. And the fans actually was cheering for this dumb shit, but they used to cheer for him. He came to TNA, but his character became serious. And remember that belt that Billy Corgan created, where it was by rounds, which I always thought would have worked if they don't announce at the end of the fucking round who won the round. Don't announce who won the round. Let the fucking fans find out at the end. That always killed it, because before the last round, if you win the first round, right, and then you win the second round, there's no need for a third round. But if you win the first round and then announce it, then you lose the second round, then announce it, then at the end of the third, like, it's like, you already know who won. It just was like that part of the concept is what fucked that up. You know, I thought that could have worked though. Okay, notice since he went to the NWA and he's the owner of it, he doesn't even do that anymore. But that part right there, that one detail. Okay, anyway, but he came over there. I always forget that guy's name. He's in NWA right now as well. But this is what I'm saying to you. If you have a mid-card type of character, that can't work on the big stage, where all of a sudden you're world champion, right? So when I look at Je Hendry, it might not have anything to do with ever making him a champion. He might just be the new R-Truth. I'm just going to go be silly as fuck. Nothing about this dude, when I look at him, is like, man, what is it about this guy, man? What I just don't see the connection. I just can't. I don't feel nothing about this guy. I watched Dustin Rhodes kick ass in the NWA, WCW, and Dustin Rhodes was always solid. He came to WWE. He became Gold Dust, and I hated that shit. And they was like, remember, it's like they was teasing like was he bisexual or whatever he was. Then he was with that chick, was it Luna Vachon? I remember that episode where they had the ball in his mouth and he was all chained up and crawling and like he was some sex slave. I mean, they did some really goofy shit with this guy. I mean, your beloved Dustin Rhodes, became Stardust. And this is what I'm saying with this. It's like they always come with these weird ass characters, man. And like, my point, Stardust would never be world champion. That's exactly my point. Goldust would never be world champion. He's never been world champion over there. But that's what Stardust would never be world champion. This is exactly the point what I'm saying. So what do you do with fucking Je Hendry? Who the fuck want to see Je Hendry as a world champion with that stupid ass gimmick, man? Like, I think if he was to win a big one, it would probably, they might cheer and all, but then after they cheer for him, they might all in the same breath go, what the fuck just happened? Je Hendry's the fucking world champion. I don't see that shit. And that's why every wrestler isn't a good fit. I mean, let's look at what they did to Braun Strowman. This big, strong dude running around the ring just losing to everybody. It's not about just signing somebody because they left WWE. What can we do with this person? It's a creative process. This is what a lot of people don't think about. They overlook it. They think just, I'm free. Okay, cool. We're going to sign. No. Creatively, we got to get together. What do we want to do creatively with you? Everybody has to agree. It has to be something that they, because people remember you how you were. People that like Braun Strowman would say, yeah, man, I hope WWE sign him back. Well, they let him go again for the same reason they let him go the first time. So now if he goes to AEW, you love Braun Strowman so much, but you won't watch him. This is what I mean about you motherfuckers, man. So it's like, what can we do creatively? You guys forget Cora Jade was in AEW. Yeah. Yeah, y'all forget that, don't y'all? So if she comes to the AEW now, she's just coming back. Megan Bain was there early, the AEW dark days. She was there. You guys, it's just like Je Hendry. He was in TNA before. Remember that guy? Was it Guido, whatever his name was? And one of them motherfuckers, was it Taz? Somebody didn't like him. The fat guy used to come out dancing and shit. And it was a tag team with him. And then, what's his name? Iyumura, the Japanese dude, was teamed with Je Hendry. So Je Hendry's went through a process, man. Y'all don't remember that shit, though. That's what I'm saying. Y'all don't remember. So y'all see these wrestlers now and forget, like, damn, I told you, even Kevin Knight was in TNA. And I'm sitting here watching the process of how things change, who stayed the same, who evolved. That's what I'm saying when it comes to this process, this creative process of professional wrestlers, man. You got to do something different. I knew of the Ultimate Warrior when him and Sting, who used to be Flash, when they was Rock and Flash. They were the Blade Runners. You guys know I made Ultimate Warrior as Blade, as Rock on a Fight Forever. But at first I had gave him the short haircut. He had the little box haircut, but then I changed it and gave him the Ultimate Warrior look. But I just still called him Blade Runner Rock on there because I felt like cool. All right, I could even did the Dingo Warrior. Okay. But either way, I remember that before he became the Ultimate Warrior. Okay, before Sting before Flash became Sting and all that. I remember those guys, right? And I always been like the type of person who would go back and watch shit way before my time anyway, so I could get a feel what was happening to it and understand it. Not go watch a fucking a fucking highlight film and think I know a person's history or know their career. Cause no. People now watch shit just to criticize it. They don't watch it to learn something or just to enjoy it. They watch shit just to complain and talk shit. My point with all this is that if you look at the Dingo Warrior, if you look at, these guys before he became the Ultimate Warrior, he wasn't the same character. All that yelling, high octane, this and this and this, running on 4 cylinders, all the horsepowers and all that shit he was talking about. He wasn't doing that shit as the Dingo Warrior and as Blade Runner Rock. He just talked normal. First thing I noticed about him when I saw him in the WWE was that, his character got more intense, and now he's, all that, and, stuff like he always had the power shit, but like never, his character was different. That's the best thing about him was his character and his look, and he lived up to that shit. He didn't have to be the best wrestler. He did what he did. You understand what I mean? And so it worked for him. But they took his character and it was like, okay, nah, more intensity. More intensity. We need you to be crazy. Yeah, so that motherfucker went from Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. He got a complete change. Sting changed too, but Sting became an all-around better wrestler overall, and he's an all-around better performer overall altogether. But in terms of intensity and how Warrior did his shit, it worked out like a charm. And his, we tuned in to watch the Ultimate Warrior. We tuned in to watch Sting. So we saw the beginning, we saw the ups and downs, and we saw where they went later. I remember watching Rick Martel. He's one that stands out to me too because I remember him, Kurt Hennig, Nick Bockwinkel, Harley Race, all these guys was in AWA at the same time. And man, these guys could wrestle. And then Rick Martel, he came to WWF. But remember when he came back as Rick the Model Martel. And remember he used to cheat, spray the shit in people's eyes and all or whatever. And it's like they change people up, man, to where that's what the WWE was about. We want to make you characters. Like I said, everybody feel like real life comic book heroes or something. And that's what they did. So the changes that I saw, like Kurt Hennig with the Mr. Perfect shit, no, but bottom line, they changed people. Now, Harley Race pretty much stayed the same, with the exception of the wrestling skills he had. For him to lose to Hulk Hogan, for Kurt Hennig to lose to Hulk Hogan, for all these guys that was solid in that ring, it didn't matter. You changed the character, but it's like, where's the justice at, man? Where? Like, what are you going to do with these people? Remember the Repo Man, who was basically one of the demolition wrestlers, man? I mean, it's just what I'm saying. Remember Crush? And then he became a demolition member. You had Axe Smash. Like, all of them, they all was somebody else before. Just like I said, Kane was the fake Diesel. He was Dr. Isaac Yankem. So all of these wrestlers that they changed. Sometime it worked, sometime it didn't. Tony Atlas came back as Saba Simba. Like, bro, we know it's Tony Atlas. Like, come on. You know what I mean? But this is what happens. Me, Mark Callis became the Undertaker. You know, this, like, when you look at these characters, you off top know this guy will never be world champion. Not with that gimmick. Got to change that. So, what are you going to do? Reach out to Je Hendry when his TNA contract is up and bring him in as he is with that stupid ass gimmick, that turnaround smile bullshit like that. I just don't understand how you guys get into this kind of shit. Like, this is really some good shit that you're getting. But hey, man, it is what it is. And really, for Je Hendry, the worst part of it to me, for him, is because if he tries, like I said, to get serious, become a more serious type wrestler, man, you're going to have to go back to your old ways. Grow your hair out, man. Get some facial hair or something. And honestly, you're going to have to create a character to the point where people are like, that's Je Hendry? Nah. Because as you are, his character sucks, man. And this day and time where that soft, sissy shit is in, I'm just saying, I really don't like anything about Je Hendry, man. I don't. Like, it's nothing about his skill set when I watch him wrestle that I feel, yo. And this is what I'm saying. This dude is not that good of a wrestler. He's just an entertainer. So what the fuck is he going to do in AEW? You understand what I mean? AEW, yeah, I mean, he'll have his little segment. Who wants to have him come out that little stupid turnaround, smile, dumb shit? If this is about ratings, see, this is the point. Now, you get him there. Then what? How are you going to keep ratings up with him? Like, what is he going to do? Because he can't deliver in the ring. His matches are subpar, man. He has there's nothing about this dude, man. He needs to be a brutalizer. He needs to be a guy who comes in, gets it done, and get the fuck out. And he needs a different look. I mean, a different wrestling attire. His gear looks whack. He looks whack. Is nothing about this guy. Nothing. So when people are looking at this dude like he's some hot free, like he's going to be some hot free agent, man. Nah, Je Hendry, please, AEW. Don't. Now, when people say I got to do what's best for business, you don't always know. You a lot of times think what you're doing is good till you get it, then realize I shouldn't have did it. You know, example. Please tell me something, y'all. Let's look at Miro. What do you think Miro's going to do now? That all of a sudden Miro's on a pedestal. He's on the next level or something. What do you think Miro's going to do now? Andrade Idolo or whatever he call his fucking self. Like, what are these guys? I mean, him with the lucha shit, with the AAA and all. Whatever. But what do you know? Rey Mysterio's been around forever, so yeah, his presence will be felt in AAA as well, and all that. But what exactly do you think you're going to see from Miro? Have you watched Miro's in-ring work? So what is Miro going to do? All WWE wrestlers is part of a fucking storyline that, in your mind, he's going to be world champion. He's going to do this and that. In their minds, okay, we had a fun night. Okay, next, where's the actual real plans? The dude's from fucking Bulgaria, right? What the fuck do you think they're going to do with Miro? Other than make him some contender just for Cody to beat up on, or Roman Reigns, or somebody just, oh, he gave a great match. One of the things people love to say in professional wrestling, this guy gained more fans in defeat than he would have with a win, right? Because it's like a guy who has he's a heel. He does a lot of fuck shit to win matches, and all of a sudden he had that one match where he doesn't cheat, doesn't let people get involved, and then he lose the match, but he fights hard. And then that person never get the push that you thought they were going to get. That's what constantly happens. And that's what actually happened to Je Hendry and TNA. And when he finally got his fucking push, he had a sucky ass title reign. Like when Nick Nemeth came there, he got the red carpet rolled out for him. Now, here's a guy who couldn't win shit in WWE for years. Years. You remember his brother Ryan Nemeth was in AEW? Okay, so he's in TNA, and they've been teaming up, and he turned heel again. And once again, walks in, instantly champion. And this is what I said. That goes to show you, and it makes your homegrown talent look weak. And who took a side seat for him? Je Hendry. Because he was the guy that was pushing to, right, be that next guy. So, not only does TNA show you they have no structure and no real confidence in what they're doing, they're just trying to just go with, it's like they have the whole Triple H mindset. Stories don't have to make sense. Just, whatever. Because nothing that they're doing is making any actual sense. Just having random matches. So all of that shit about, give me a story, tell me stories, man. Stop talking about some fucking TNA then. Because TNA don't have shit going on. And that's why even watching like the females wrestle, watching like the newcomers that they have coming in, I don't understand how they use people, because when you see these people have these matches, then the next time you see them, it's just like nothing is leading to nothing. Everything about it. I said years ago, before there was a YouTube, before there was social media, I said years ago, because of Vince McMahon with this storytelling wrestling shit, it's going to fuck wrestling up to the point, unless every other company is trying to emulate this same shit, it's going to be difficult for them to really stay afloat. Because Roddy Piper came out on Nitro one night and was saying, tell the other people you don't want sports or entertainment. Tell them you want professional wrestling, because this is what was happening, right? Roddy Piper was saying this, right? Do you remember the storyline with Chris Jericho? I am a sports entertainer. Remember when he was trying to recruit Daniel Garcia? And remember the crowd was chanting, you're a wrestler. Okay, see, this is what I'm saying. AEW fans remember this. Now, WWE retards don't, because this is my point. They don't care. And this is exactly what we're talking about. And why was Chris Jericho getting booed so heavily? Yeah. AEW fans don't care about that cartoon shit that WWE is doing. So the balance of sports and entertainment and wrestling has to be combined. That's what people don't understand. I didn't want to see Chris Jericho. Do you know what happens when you disagree with me? You just made the list. Like, who cares? But that's what you think Chris Jericho is supposed to do to the day he dies or retires from wrestling. Like, this is what I'm saying. Certain gimmicks, they happen, then it's like, all right, it's enough of that shit. Silly stuff. Silly stuff, man. So going forward, man, I don't know what the hell Je Hendry is going to do in WWE, but I feel like that's where he's going to go when his TNA contract is up. But what purpose would they have for this dude, man? I don't have any faith in nothing that they do. I have to see it to believe it. Now, they do it, then I'll be the first to say, yeah, they did it. They took him in, did something different, and whatever. If I like it, I'll like it. I'll say it. I won't sit there and say I don't if I do. But I don't. Like nothing that they're doing with this dude right now. And I look at how many people that are no longer in AEW, you don't see them anywhere. Anywhere. So it just lets you know, man, you know, you can't take nothing for granted. And I might not have said this in my last video, but as far as Wardlow had a very bad injury that kept him out of the ring that people wasn't talking about. I guess they maybe didn't know. And then he had a really bad car wreck that further made the injury even worse. And that him and Tony Khan has basically decided that it just wouldn't be in anybody's best interest for him to come back. And that was a while ago. So maybe it's the type of injury that one little thing can go wrong in that ring, and you understand what I'm saying? It's so remember all that talk about Wardlow to WWE? Yeah, what happened? What happened? So, you know, this is what I'm saying, man. If you watch TNA wrestling right now, there's very few people that you're going to watch and say he or she should go to WWE. But you watch AEW, and all you motherfuckers always spot a bunch of wrestlers that should go to WWE. Yet they suck so bad. Well, Je Hendry sucks to me. And I just don't fucking care for his fucking character at all, man. I really don't, man. I just don't see what it is about this dude that connects with people, man. Aside from that stupid sports entertainment mentality, just find the most goofy characters. Well, like I said a couple of videos ago, what I'm not shocked because that's how I found out that GameStop had closed down around the corner from me last month, and I'm like, wow. And these dudes are walking. The motherfucker was dressed like a banana, bro. Another motherfucker dressed like a taco. Grown ass men. Dude, no fucking way. They closed down GameStop. Fuck, man. I'm like, these are two grown ass men dressed like pieces of fruit. One was dressed like a fucking peach. I mean, grown men, man. I mean, to each his own, but what the fuck? Like, grown men. What the fuck would make me go in the store and say, I know it's not Halloween, but you see that banana suit? Yeah, let me buy that. Step into this motherfucker, stick my arms in and zip it up, put the hood, and I'm walking down the street dressed like a fucking banana. These are grown ass men. A grown ass man walking down the street dressed like this, and that's a motherfucker that sits behind a motherfucking camera and talk about what's stupid and what's not. Are you fucking shitting me? Well, I don't believe in Je Hendry, yo. And I don't know what his connection is going to be with the fans in the long run. But I know silly characters. I mean, we see what they did to R-Truth. But silly characters like that, they don't last. They just don't last. You know? And he lasted longer than everybody else with the silly shit. But you see what they did to him. And the thing is, for every wrestler that talk about legacy, what is his legacy? What is R-Truth legacy? Okay, I was tag team champion a couple of times with The Miz, and I won a worthless, stupid belt 24 fucking times. What was his legacy? And I made people laugh. That's all he was a clown. That's all they use R-Truth to do. And this is what I'm saying with Je Hendry, because he's just as big of a goofball. Well, not as quite. He's not quite as big of a goofball. He's more of a cornball than anything else. Yeah, Truth was a bigger goofball, but he's just as goofy though. You know, he's just as goofy. His mic skills stink, and because he sits there and makes these little songs up and you know that type of shit he makes, and people get into it. Okay, cool. Elias could do that. The Rock does that. So what? We've seen this already. We've already seen this shit. So, it is what it is. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys now. Catch you guys on the next video.